Guys, I am trying real hard. I really am trying to comprehend Hunter Hearst Helmsley's WrestleMania 41 booking. I truly am. The whole season, I have been trying to find the silver linings. I am trying to give Hunter every benefit of the doubt that I possibly can. And it just keeps getting more stupid by the show. Thank goodness John Cena went to WWE, went to Helmsley and said, I'm turning heel. Thank goodness Cena turned heel. We would be getting Cena, Cody face versus face. Thank goodness that The Rock and Brian Gerwitz were leading the charge writing-wise at the Elimination Chamber. So that when Helmsley looked at the camera after the chamber went off the air at the press conference, the media scrum, Helmsley looked at the camera so that all of us could hear him say, now does it feel like WrestleMania season? Well, it's a start, right? We all shouted back, it's a start. That was pretty damn good. Again, we find out, we knew Cena it was his decision, and it was The Rock and Gerwitz that leaded the charge on the writing. But as I always say, because Helmsley puts his name as the chief of content, when it's really bad, he's going to be the biggest one to blame. When it's good, I will absolutely heap praise upon him as well. But thank goodness that happened at the Elimination Chamber. Because when Helmsley looked at the camera and said, now does it feel like Mania season? And BC said, it's a start. I said, you're not going to have The Rock and John Cena and Brian Gerwitz holding your hand every show going forward. They're not going to be there. So this gift that they put in your lap, Helmsley, this gift of what happened at the chamber, this gift of Cena telling you he wants to go heel, and changing the game of pro wrestling for the last week and a half, we've had that to talk about. That gift, you now have to carry that momentum. You have to make sure that gathers more and more steam with the rest of the card. You now have to book your shows to try to match that type of hype. And unfortunately, here we are a week later, and you get a Raw like that, where half the show was advertisements and Netflix endorsements. Every single Netflix show imaginable. They brought all of their stars. Most of them I've never even heard of. And we've had to spend half the show last night giving them airtime. I got more ads than ever before. I don't know what tier I'm on, but I got nothing but advertisements and Netflix endorsements. And when I wasn't getting that, I was getting Logan Paul, who's just a step away from a celebrity himself, calling out another celebrity, a comedian that I've never heard of. That was an actual segment. We get Roman Reigns coming back. Pretty cool. An entire crowd chanting OTC to end the show. The only downside is it was CM Punk that he was standing over. CM Punk looking up at the lights, completely knocked out, while an entire arena chants for the other dude. So you already had face versus face, Rollins and CM Punk, so they were already splitting their audience. But then Roman comes in. Roman takes them all out. Madison Square Garden's like, yeah, OTC. CM Punk is looking up at the lights. What are you doing, Hunter? Why would you book this? Nobody wins in this scenario. You think Rollins is going to get more babyface status from this? Do you think Punk is going to gather more babyface status? Who does this help? Roman was going to get that reaction if you just put him in there with a diabolical heel. There are none anymore. So 2 matches were teased last night, and guys, it's nothing but babyfaces. I wish I could tell you it's just a one-on-one. No, these are triple threats that were teased last night. Roman, Seth, Punk. 3 of your top baby faces in the company. They have no heels to work with, and they had nothing else for Mania. So Hunter was like, what if we just put you all in a match? Well, what beef does Roman and Punk have? What if we just have Roman go in there, Paul, like spend time with Punk, and then Roman will get jealous real quick. We'll do a spear, and boom, that's now beef between Punk and Roman. Roman already had the beef with Rollins like Punk did. We'll put them all in there in one match. For no reason. It's for the air in the abyss. That's what's on the line. That's what's on the line. Nothing. There's no championship. It's just 3 dudes with separate feuds between them. And we're going to have a triple threat. Where would you see that? You wouldn't have a boxing fight, have a third person boxing in there. You'd have a champion and a challenger. Or you just have 2 dudes. Boxing wouldn't have a third. Could you imagine that? 3 people trying to box each other. UFC, you wouldn't add a third person in the octagon to fight. It's 2 people in the cage. The Super Bowl doesn't have 3 teams. It's the Super Bowl. A triple threat, we overdo that anyway when it's title matches or to create a number 1 contender. We do too many fatal 4-ways and triple threats. But now we're doing them just for nothing. You guys remember just 2 weeks ago on Raw, it was like Butch, Kaiser, and Penta, I believe. There was nothing on the line. It was just, we're putting 3 people in a match together. And a heel ended up beating a heel. You guys remember? I think it was like Butch defeated Kaiser, something like that. Or maybe vice versa. But a heel beat a heel, so one heel out-heeled the other heel. That's not going to help Butch or Kaiser. And Penta ends up taking an L in the process. I was just surprised there was a face in the match. Roman, Punk, Rollins. I'm sure there's people so excited for this. Whoa, 3 top stars. Once you take a step back and think about how stupid this is, you realize it doesn't help anybody. You have a guy like Punk who was looking up at the lights. Everybody was chanting CM Punk last night, right? Until they got confused and didn't want to hurt Seth's feelings, so they started to do the sing-along. So they were split. But when Roman went in there and takes them both out, the arena is chanting OTC over CM Punk, you're another top babyface. That type of reaction, that type of return for Roman has to be used for a diabolical heel. So that the heel is looking up at the lights, and what a reaction. No harm, no foul. The heel picks up those heel points. Roman picks up the face points. This is detrimental booking. This does nothing but hurt the talent, and maybe that's what he's going for. I don't truly believe at all that he has reconciled anything with CM Punk. Otherwise, Punk would have probably won the Rumble or Chamber or vice versa, whichever one. He plants the seed of Cody and CM Punk, which would have also been face versus face, by the way, but he planted that 2 months ago just as a little carrot in front of Punk, and then he just took it away. We have nothing, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put you in there we'll give you a big match with Roman and Seth. Punk's like, how's that going to help me? You're splitting the audience into thirds now. Roman's probably going to get the biggest cheer, so Seth and Punk will be the biggest losers. They are teasing a triple threat. We've known this for over a month now. That was what was like being talked about internally within World Wrestling Entertainment. But we were back then even going, wait, that makes no sense. After last night, it makes even less sense. He speared Punk. Oh no, Punk now has to demand a triple threat. For what? There's nothing on the line. And guys, it's not even the dudes. If you saw the ladies last night, Iyo Sky's championship. Did you... What a horrendous segment. Iyo is out there with Bianca, a champion and a challenger. Whoa, what a concept. Here comes, this is my brutality. Ria Ripley comes to the ring. Ria and Bianca becomes the focal point. They start just pie-facing Iyo out of the way like she's an afterthought. So Iyo smacks them both and takes off. And the camera stays on Ria and Bianca. So that's the real story. So that tells us they're most likely, and I told you this was most likely going to happen, and they planted the seeds last night. They're going to put Ria back in this match, or she was never actually away from it. This was a way to put Iyo in the match, get the title, and then it'll be easier to keep Ria in the match. So they give Iyo a championship a month before Mania. They take it off of Ria. And then Ria is nowhere near away from the situation. She's still very much in this title match. Don't be shocked at all if this becomes a triple threat. And again, same problem with the dudes. Face, face, face. 3 of your top faces. Iyo, Bianca, Ria Ripley. None of them are heels. So it helps nobody. You just split your audience into 3s. So not only are you getting 3 people going for a title, at least that is for a title with the dudes. It's just Roman, Punk, and Rollins just having a fight. I don't know how many people want to volunteer to have a 3-way fight. What are you gaining? You don't take two people that you're about to have a fight or you want to have a fight with and go, hey, want to just do it all together? Let's add our fights. What? At least the women have a title on the line. Face. Where are the heels? For the dudes and the women. Who are the heels for the women? The top heels. Who are they? Nia Jax? She plays the same role all the time. She's always the heel they go to because she's the biggest presence. Nobody's taking her seriously. Stop. Liv Morgan, I guess. Then if that's the case, Morgan, you should have found a way to put Morgan in there if you had to do a triple threat. Watch them add her and make it a fatal four-way because at this point, Hunter's like, we have nothing to lose. We already ruined this. We already made it so damn confusing and pointless. Might as well add a heel. What a concept. Who's the top heels for the... I don't even know. Chelsea plays a good one. Her booking is always to lose even with a championship. And for the dudes, there's no diabolical heels. Gunther would be the only person, and since he's gotten the title, Hunter Hearst Helmsley has been even more lost with him than before he got the title. Hunter doesn't know how to book a Gunther. Gunther is an absolute afterthought. And to think that his title reign is going to end to a mid-card Jason Uso, sorry, not sorry, it's just the truth. I don't care if he's pushing a few more t-shirts and everybody's going, yay! It's Jason Uso in 2025 at our WrestleMania. Because they want to try to create a hybrid moment of Kofi Mania and Yes movement. The Yeet movement. Yeetamania. BC's dropping truth bombs, man. It's fact after fact. I have no time for BS. A lot of travel and business last week, and I have a lot more coming up. There's no time to BS or sugarcoat or bullshit my audience on this channel. Jason Uso in 2025 is your big climactic moment. In 2025 at WrestleMania 41, Jason Uso hoisting up a title. Think about that. From Hulk Hogan hoisting that title up to Stone Cold. Shawn Michaels. The boyhood dream becomes a reality. Shawn over Bret Hart. These iconic moments. And Jason Uso, they're yeeting. You went from Stone Cold. And now the call is going to be Michael Cole yelling, I pulled a hamstring yeeting, Pat. And Pat's going to respond, I know. Hold on, Michael. I'm yeeting all over the front row. It's 2025, WrestleMania 41. I had a lot to say in this cold open teaser, but that's not even the review. I got the review in front of me. I'm taking you guys to the opening signature because I got to make a whole new coffee. I'm downing this one. Salute, by the way, my unit. Salute. I'm going to down the rest of this because I need a fresh coffee for this review. All right. So I'm going to down this. I'm going to take you guys to the opening signature. Come right on back. It's 44 dive time. We rolling. BC in the unit, Raw 3/10/25. Can you tell I have a lot to say about this shit show? Not happy at all, man. Cena, Rock, they can't always be there to hold Hunter's hand. They all show up at Elimination Chamber, and when it was all said and done, it felt big, it felt special. Then they leave again, and it's just Hunter Helmsley, and we get this. I'm not going to wait till you hear what Logan Paul was doing last night. Wait till you hear what they had Chad Gable do last night. And wait till you hear what happened to CM Punk when this thing was all said and done. So what was otherwise a damn good cage match, by the way, if you take away the 8,000 false finishes, I can never look at a stomp or a GTS the same way again. I can't. Because now I know how many people should be kicking out of that. Seth Rollins kicked out of 812 GTSs last night. Slight exaggeration. Punk kicked out of 425 stomps. But in today's wrestling, if you get rolled up, the chances of losing is 72%. If you get rolled up, but stomps and GTS galore, you can kick out of nonstop. And I'm supposed to watch people get beat by those two moves again? That's the detrimental part of doing those type of matches with 8,000 false finishes. That's the bad part, is getting fans like BC to reinvest in those moves. Oh, we on one. We on one today in this review, man. Come right on back. I'm going to get a whole new coffee rocking. 44 die. We rolling BC in the unit. Raw 3/10/25. Let's do this. Unit, salute. Raw 310-25, your amplified review. Yow! Now that is what I'm talking about. That one is going to get us through this review. Amplified Groot, you good? You filled? He's got a little mini latte. Amplified Groot, he's good. Where's all the heels at, man? I guess that's the theme of this review. There are zero. If you guys think about, like, Kevin, I know my cold open, we're going to get to the review. One last thing, I have to say this, man. If Owens didn't turn heel 2 months ago and Cena didn't turn heel last week, those two people did not turn heel. Who do you have? Like, so, who do you have? Who? You have nobody. You had Gunther, and that's it. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley occupied Jason Uso with Gunther. Owens and Cena had to turn heel just to try to manifest some type of heel versus face matchups for Mania. That's it. Other than that, you have nobody. Nobody. This is some weird stuff, man. I don't know if Hunter just does not want anybody to be talked about in the same category as the cerebral assassin Triple H, but that's only because Vince McMahon booked him correctly to be the cerebral assassin, and he put him with the best of baby faces so that they worked off of one another, so that the baby face made that heel, Triple H, the cerebral assassin, even better, and Hunter made the baby face even better. Higher stature, higher status, more prestigious. That's what you need in pro wrestling. That top babyface, that top heel, and they work off of one. That's how pro wrestling works. Hunter has to know this. The way he's booking his talents is detrimental to them. This is ass backwards. There's a show to review. Let's just do this. By the way, it's fitting I'm making a coffee now because before this show started last night, I was literally in the process of making a latte. I needed a few more minutes, so I couldn't get to my notes. I didn't know how they were starting the show. So I just said out loud, I said, man, this is the one time I'm actually hoping they started off with the Yeet Master, Jason Uso. I'm like, please start with Uso, because then I know I have at least 10 minutes, because they're just going to yeet. It's going to be a 10-minute entrance. It's longer than Roman's. It's longer than The Undertaker's. They yeet for 10 minutes, and that'll give me plenty of time to make my latte, get my notes in order for you guys. And sure enough, I see Jason Uso. He's starting in the corridors. He's like, New York, it's time to yeet, or whatever he says. And then everyone's like, oh my goodness. They're looking at each other. What are we doing? It's called yeeting. And they're all doing it. I'm like, New York, what are you doing, man? Relax. Relax. We are not that corny, brah. Stop. What are you doing, New York? I'm very, very pleased, though, for New York, man. Was it the first matchup of the night? I think it was. No. What was it? No. The second matchup of the night, because Jey Uso was the first. I'll tell you why I was very happy of Madison Square Garden, that crowd, when we get to the New Day versus Mysterio and Dragon Lee. But I was very happy that Jey Uso was starting the show. I got a chance to make my latte. So all this coffee talk, I got to take another swig. This was Jey Uso starting the show, defeating Grayson Waller. And then Jey Uso turns into Superman. Basically, Roman Reigns 2.0. Roman Reigns amplified is Jey Uso these days. Oh, that's hot. I like it. So Uso defeats Waller. Post-match, he takes out Austin Theory with a spear. I think he took out Waller. He's just taking out both. Who needs Jimmy? This is the same guy that was in a tag team, right? And now he's doing a singles, and he's taking out the entire team. Doesn't even need any. He turned into Superman, and he's taking everyone out with spears. Why? Well, how did he all of a sudden become Roman Reigns type of power? Jey Uso is Roman Reigns now. This is so weird. Gunther comes from behind, chokes out Uso, and that ends the segment to absolute crickets. Nobody cared. Did that get you more interested to see that matchup? You remember a few weeks ago, he said it's going to be 10 weeks of hell for Jey Uso. And for the last 2 weeks, ever since he said that, Jey Uso has been whooping his ass and making him run away. So last night, Gunther finally got the upper hand and just choked him out, and then he left on his own accord. Just took off on his own. That is horrible booking. You guys know that. It's like Jade Cargill. You had a really good segment on Friday with Bianca and Naomi. So good. I loved it. And then Hunter's like, let's blow our load now. Jade, get out there, drop Naomi, and then leave on your own accord. We're not even going to send officials out. If you got chucked off of a ledge through a car, wouldn't you be pretty upset? Now, I understand you got your licky. You got some of your lickings in at the Elimination Chamber. You whooped Naomi's ass. But there, you got her again right there on Raw. You give her a jaded glam slam. You look at her, and then you just leave. Who thought that was good booking? That's the payoff. Who needs to see Naomi and Jade now? We just saw Jade get the ultimate revenge. Whooped her ass last Saturday, and then literally knocked her out on Monday night, and then left. This is bad booking. You guys know this. Gunther chokes him out and then leaves. Wow, that's really hell for Jey Uso. This is a whole nother level of kind of hell. I'm sure they serve ice water in that hell then. What? Jey Uso just got, a minute later, Jey was getting up like, damn it, Gunther. I'll see you in the bathrooms. I'm going to punch you. So that was it, man. That was your whole first 20 minutes of the show, man. Jason Uso defeating Waller and then taking out Waller in theory and then Gunther choking him out. I mean, again, if that got you more excited or even excited to see Jey Uso Gunther, more power to you. Much love and respect. For BC, I started off because of my latte going, I hope it is Jey Uso. By the time I sat down 2 minutes into the show, I said, I hope this gets over in 2 minutes. Jey Uso as a singles act. And if you're new to the channel, that's one half of my favorite tag team, by the way, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. So for me to say this, that's telling you something. Tag team, my favorite. As a singles wrestler, Jimmy and Jay do nothing for me. I shouldn't be too shocked that they tried to put on a WrestleMania match together, one-on-one. Was it last year or the year before? And it was one of the worst matches on the entire card, both nights. I shouldn't be too shocked. As singles wrestlers, it just doesn't work for a lot of us. Thank goodness he got that yeet to push those t-shirt sales because it looks like he's going to have a title victory. I'm just not into this at all. Nothing about singles Jey Uso excites me. It's so anti-excitement. Is there a word for that? Boring? I don't know, man. If it seems harsh, tough shit, I don't have the time right now to sugarcoat, guys. I can't get really articulate with sugarcoating right now because there's so much other business outside of wrestling that I have to attend to. So you're getting even more blunt honesty and amplification than before because there's just not time to do it any other way. So there it is. Jey Uso, Gunther. Yay! Said no BC ever. Then we went to Logan Paul. You're not going to believe this, but it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley's booking, so you probably will believe this. Logan Paul is out next. And the booking for Logan Paul last night was they had him pick a fight with a comedian in the crowd. Andrew Schultz. Never heard of this dude. Sure, he's a funny dude. Good for him. Nice little career. Front row at WWE RAW at Madison Square Garden. Netflix has him there to promote his comedy special or whatever. So Logan Paul is picking a fight with Andrew Schultz, a comedian. Flips him over the barricade, throws him in the ring, goes to suplex him, but AJ Styles hits the ring for the save. That's it. That's the segment. And then AJ just started going, "This is New York. Come back, Logan." Andrew Schultz gets on the mic. He's like, "Yeah, this is Madison Square Garden. We don't run away in New York." Like Logan cared. Logan's like, dude, I'm out of here. I got my check. I fulfilled my Hunter Hearst Helmsley creative obligations. I'm out. That was the segment. I guess that's supposed to get us excited for AJ Styles, Logan Paul. I guess. I don't know. I wasn't excited about it. I thought this whole thing was weird. This is how Helmsley has gone all in on celebrities. He's just a mark. He's a mark for celebrities. Hunter has always been that way. But, I mean, you're seeing it, and especially with Netflix wanting to pump their own shows up. I mean, this is a perfect relationship for Helmsley. Because he gets to, Netflix is bringing all these people in, and Hunter's like, "Oh, do you want to be in my show?" So then you have a dude that's a step away from celebrity status himself, very part-time Logan Paul, in a segment with an actual comedian celebrity, D-list or whatever, but still Nonetheless, so it's a celebrity on celebrity segment. AJ Styles was the only real full-timer out there, and he just got back. If I know a lot of you guys don't watch the show, you just watch BC's review and you say, thank you for saving me 3 hours, BC, 2.5, whatever it is. You're welcome. But if you don't watch the shows, I mean, I can't explain to you how bad it is, man. How it just doesn't make sense. And I get it. I say this all the time. There are fans. They're the ones that show up in the arena, a lot of them. They will accept anything. They just want to yell, this is awesome. Everything, right? Oh, Roman versus Punk versus Rollins is going to be one of the best matches of the world. We're going to yell, this is awesome 7 times, 8 times in that match. There's those fans. They don't care. They don't care about logic, common sense. It's on to the next. They forget what happened. They forget what they had for breakfast. And that's the fans that Hunter and WWE preys on. I get it. There's plenty of them. But even they are turning away. Look at the metrics. Look at the t-shirt sales. Look at the ratings. Look at the ticket sales. We're going to get to that, the attendance last night and the sellout, supposedly. Look at them all, guys. It's all down. Last quarter, WWE, for the first time in years, reported a loss, a deficit. They did not record record revenue for the first time in years. So now, even financially, they took a hit. Business not booming like it used to. So even the fans that were okay with everything are even going, I saw it all. I got to show up to many events, yell, this is awesome. What more do I need to do? That's the bad part. But the other side of that is there is the whole other side of the audience that does use common sense and logic when they watch anything. I don't care if it's Winnie the Frickin' Pooh, The Many Adventures, Boy Meets World. I don't care if it's Breaking Bad or The Sopranos. One of your favorite movies. I don't care if it's from Home Alone or Taken with Liam Neeson. Whatever we watch, my point is, whatever we watch it with a sense of realism, right? Like it has to make sense. Even if you're watching a cartoon, it has to make sense, right? Like A to B, you're getting the story progression. This show doesn't have any of that, and it's consistently lacking that. And when it happens, what do we do? I can't explain to you guys how this segment. You're thinking, how did this even get approved by Hunter? How is this on our TV right now in 2025? Logan, Andrew Schultz, and Styles for the save. Let's move on. New Day, Mysterio, and Dragon Lee. I am so proud of Madison Square Garden during this matchup. 5 separate times. New Day defeats Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. This was a tornado tag, right? A way to keep Madison Square Garden really involved. When the first half of this match was boring, actually. They were all in their seats, sitting on their thumbs. Second half of the match picked up. But the finish saw Chad Gable attack the faces with an American-made lucha mask. Now, backstage, he tried to tell, what's her name? Kathy Kelly, that it wasn't him. Kathy Kelly's like, come on, man, dress the same height. And then in the background, security was taking out another dude who looked just like Gable in the mask. So I don't know what is this? This is so stupid. But we knew it was Chad Gable. We saw it with the face under the mask. He delivered the suplex the same way to Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Anyway, they have Gable out there with a freaking American-made lucha mask. And because of this, the New Day is able to pick up the W. Now, I am so proud of New York during this match. 5 separate times, 10 or 15-ish humanoids tried to get a "this is awesome" chant going. 5 separate times in this match, they tried to get "this is awesome." And NYC in totality was like, nah, brah. Nah. Like, it ain't happening. No, this ain't, bro. It's Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio versus New Day. You could call it a tornado tag. You can call it a hurricane tag, a tsunami tag, an earthquake tag, any natural disaster tag team match. It doesn't matter. Stop saying everything is awesome And in New York City, we don't play that shit. And I am so glad they represented last night. Thank you. I really do. I mean that. Because I heard it try to get started, and I'm like, stop, please, New York. Don't do this, man. Don't do this, New York. Yeah. Yeah, that was hour one. That was it. It was Jason Uso getting choked out by Gunther. It was Logan Paul and Andrew Schultz having a celebrity segment. And it was a tornado tag match with a American-made Lucha Gable. Hour two kicked off with perhaps the biggest pop of the night. Macaulay Culkin, the kid from Home Alone, Kevin McAllister. He's always there at these events, big wrestling fan. He started hour two. He was one of these celebrities. I don't think he was hawking any Netflix special. He was just there and WWE showed him. But he always gets the biggest pop of the night. It's so cool to see, man. That there's still so much love given to this dude. Macaulay Culkin, biggest pop of the night. Cody Rhodes would be out next. He would officially start hour two. This was a promo, middle of the ring. He says, I don't mind John Cena being part-time because John Cena part-time is better than most people full-time. But what he does have a problem with is Cena claiming that he is what is best for business. Cody says now there is a new captain running WWE. The crowd erupts in a let's go Cena sucks chant. So Cody looked a little bit off on this because, the focus had nothing to do with Cody. It's all on a dude that's not even there. Let's go Cena sucks, Madison Square Garden. So Cody looked a little bit, he's like, no, I'm actually glad you're chanting that because I know he's watching. I want him to hear this. So once Cody tells them the chant, of course, New York doesn't like to be told what to do, so everybody pretty much didn't do it. So that whole thing was kind of odd. He then totally exposed WWE's pathetic habit and practice of inflating attendance numbers. WWE earlier announcing over 20,000 fans were at MSG's show last night for Raw. Over 20,000. But Cody says we have almost 17,000 fans here tonight. Michael Cole quickly jumped in on, and this was a promo. Michael Cole's on headset. Very rarely, if ever, do you hear commentators talk over a promo. But Michael Cole jumped in because H was probably having a panic attack. And Cole is like, 20,000, Cody. And you can even hear Pat McAfee. That's how you know Hunter was feeding it in their ears. Because Pat was right there lockstep with Michael. 20,000. Of all the whole promo, that's what you're having a panic attack about? Uh-oh, fans might think you had less than what you said. Could it be because you did? That's what they do, guys. They inflate. Anytime WWE gives you a number, always subtract thousands. Like, for instance, if they tell you 40, take away 5, at least bare minimum. If they tell you 20, it's 2 to 4 bare minimum. But in the thousands, you can take away. They inflate the numbers. When it's 70 or 80, you can take 5 to 10,000 away. It's sad to say, but that's what they do. Now, you might want to say, well, maybe Cody just made a mistake, BC. Guys, I'm going to give you, trust me when I say this. This is 100% factual. Anybody who actually knows pro wrestling will tell you this, but especially talent. Champion always knows the house because they always get the blame when it's not filled and they always get the praise when it is, even though it's not right. I don't agree with that. I don't think Hogan should have been the only one to get praised for sellouts back in the day, for instance, or even Steve Austin. Just like I don't feel that Mox should get all of the the absolute visceral that he's getting right now. And I understand the Death Riders isn't working for AEW fans. But to put it all on Mox, man, when you see all of the things that AEW has to fix, you can't put all that on Mox. Mox is doing all that he can. He's a part of that show. But because he's the champion, that's where everybody goes to. That's what I mean when I say the champion always knows his gate, always knows his house. Champion knows the numbers because he knows it's all on them. Or at least that's what it's going to circle back to. Did you draw a dime? If you think Cody went out there last night and didn't know the house, stop, man. You just don't know how wrestling works. That's the truth. Champions, every wrestler should know the house if you're on the card, because that's your pride on the line too. You know, you're seeing if you are drawing, even though it's going to go back to the champion, the praise and the blame. But if you're on that card, you want to be able to hold some of that. You know, yeah, we drew Madison Square Garden, man. We had to sell out. If you're even on the card, you should know the house. But the champion always knows the exact number. Cody said nearly 17,000. He was not off by thousands, guys. You would remember a number like 20. Cody knew the house. Cody knew it was more like 16,000 some odd. Especially with the setup that they had. They had the long LED board. Usually, Madison Square Garden, for the WWE shows, they just have like a curtain. But because it's Raw, they really tried to sexy it up. But it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. Cody just told you. It was, you know, we got nearly 17,000 people here. And Michael Cole and Pat had to jump in. 20. I laughed, man. I was like, oh, Hunter's having a panic attack. Oh, man, it was great. The champion always knows the house. It was not 20 plus. It's going to say that because that's what they do. They inflate the numbers. But that's, oh, man, it was so good. It was, you can't. Oh, it was so awesome, man. It's not often that WWE Live, you know, gets kind of put out like that. Like, dude, you do not have 20,000. Your champion just put you on blast. I loved it. I'll move on, but I want you guys to know how special of a moment that was for PC. It was like, because they do this every single time there's a big show. And it's like, dude, somebody has to fucking stop them. They have to. I don't know what just tell what the number is, man. They're just obsessed with the image that they're always selling out, even when they're not, or even when they have a sellout, it's not good enough for them. 17 doesn't sound good. It's Madison Square. We gotta say 20. It's 20. Vince did it too. This isn't just Hunter Helmsley. Trust me, Vince would do the same shit, and I don't understand it. Just tell what it is, man. Anyway, moving on. I just thought that was the best part. That was the only good part of the promo, guys. Nothing else happened. Yeah, it was so weird. The finish was just Cody goes, "Thank you, New York. I love you guys. I'm out," or something. It was so weird. Like he was like doing an interview or something and not a promo to sell a big fight at WrestleMania, a title match. He's just like, "Thank you, New York. Love you guys. All right, I'm out." Yeah. Hunter Helmsley booking. This is him cooking. This is what I'm told. It was weird. Check the finish of that promo, man. Listen to how silent Madison Square Garden was. Wild. Bayley versus Raquel Rodriguez was next. Referee Jessica Carr, the Law and Order for this one. Not sure one man in MSG could pay attention to this match with Liv Morgan at ringside. Damn. Those black booty shorts, those high heel boots. Are they boots? Or are they just like high top high heels? I don't even know what. With the booty. Liv Morgan was on another one last night. She usually is, but I mean, it's like Raquel and Bayley. Can you move? Right, and they're the actual attract. That's the match. But you're like, you're yelling at the camera guy, right? If you're watching it, can you please go to the outside where Liv is? Anyway, with this one, with a little help from Morgan and Mysterio and a big ass Tahana bomb, Raquel pins Bayley. Good for Raquel. Listen, we need heels. I think Raquel is so sloppy in a lot of her matches. Unfortunately, the tag match she had the other week when they won those titles, that was her best match I've ever seen her. She was hitting everything, so I know it's in her. We just have to get that confidence and that self-esteem to rise to another level. So I know it's in Raquel. We just haven't seen it yet. A lot of her matches kind of sloppy, and there's not that connection. But we need heels drastically, men and women in this company. So I'm willing to see what they do with Raquel. On the flip side, I don't know. I mean, Bayley is taking so many weird losses lately. NXT, nothing is gained in NXT. She takes those L's to all the younger talent. She is taking L's to Candice LeRae within the last couple of months. Candy LeRae. Raquel on Monday nights. I don't know what they're doing with Bayley. Is she just going to be like Natty Neidhart and just kind of just be around? Stick her wherever they kind of need a filler and just kind of help out the younger talents? If so, that's sad. I think Bayley has a lot more to offer storyline-wise and prestige-wise. But Bayley looks to be absolutely done. Like many talents, like the Shayna Baszlers and so many others. They just look like there's no direction. It doesn't look like Hunter has anything for them. So they're just going to be fillers. It's sad to see what happened to Bayley. Hour number 2 ends with Iyo Sky and Bianca Belair in a face-to-face promo. Rhea Ripley comes to the ring. And there you go. The seeds are planted. If they so choose to do the triple threat at Mania, face versus face versus face. And you're not going to believe how this went down. I say that all the time, but you can believe it because it's Hunter booking this. So Rhea comes to the ring and she and Belair ignite their beef while completely disregarding Iyo. At one point, Rhea just pie-faced Iyo out of the way. We're trying to have an adult conversation. Kids need to be out of the way. So Iyo tries to come back. Like, guys, I'm in this too. I'm a champion. And Bianca pie-faces her. So then Iyo comes back and separates them. Is like, I'm the champion! She starts screaming. She smacks Rhea, and then she smacks Bianca. And then she just leaves the ring screaming, I'm the champion! I'm the champion! And I love Iyo. But the way that Helmsley books her, even you throw a title on these people, it doesn't make anything more special. You have to book them properly. Or else the title is going to be a weight that's going to anchor them down. That ship is not going to sail more smoothly because they get titles. In fact, the ship is going to start to tank. It's going to start to sink because the title is just more weight on these individuals. They're still booking them horribly, like Braun Breaker and Shinsuke Nakamura, who got titles and they just walk around backstage every week looking all creepy and staring at people. Or Gunther getting a title and absolutely being more irrelevant than he's ever been in his career. Vince was booking him better with a U.S. championship. Or IC, whatever it was. Whatever the title was that Vince gave him. All the champions. Iyo. I mean, that's how you book Iyo after winning the title? Treating her like she's just a kid in the corner? Shut up, the adults are having a conversation. And when Iyo swarmed off, do you know where the camera was? It was sticking right on Bianca and Rhea. Like they were shocked. Like, whoa, Iyo stood up for herself. Why is Rhea even involved in this if they don't want to keep her in this so they can have a triple threat at Mania? How is that fair to Bianca? She won the Rumble. I don't even know how Iyo got a title shot last week, much less got the title from Rhea, but that's the way they thought it was easier to have Rhea stay in this than to find a way to get Iyo involved. So what if we make this weird title match, even though Iyo didn't win the Rumble, even though Iyo didn't win the Elimination Chamber, but we'll still give her a title match, and we'll have her win it. That'll get Iyo into the match with Bianca, and people love Rhea, so we can find an easier way to keep Rhea in it. I hope that makes sense, and if it doesn't, I don't blame you. None of it does. BC's just trying to make sense of it. And yes, the little cherry on top, each one of these ladies is faces for Mania. Rhea, Bianca, Iyo. Face, face, face. Who wins? Nobody. Nobody gains any momentum coming out of Mania. Good job, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Said nobody, ever. Said no BC ever, I'll tell you that much. Absolutely stupid. And that's it. She slaps him, she walks off, and they stare at each other, and Madison Square Garden is like, that was weird. Yeah, it was very weird, wasn't it? And then hour number 3 dedicated to the cage match. CM Punk, Sethington Rollins inside the cage. Match itself was good. It was a big fight feel for Madison Square Garden. I didn't mind this at all. Till they got to the end and they did the 8,000 false finishes. You can't do that. You can't. Just the ooh and ah of the crowd. Guys, you have to protect. Forget the fact that it's face versus face. So the babyface status is not protected in this match. That's removed. Their babyface status is revoked in a match like this because you're going to be 50-50 responded to. Some people were doing the sing-along. More people were doing the CM Punk chant, but you're still dividing your audience. But on top of that, now you're even devaluing your moveset. Guys, there was 800 stomps in this matchup, and Punk kicked out of all of them. There was 914 GTSs. Rollins kicked out of all of them. It wasn't until Roman Reigns returned, took Seth by the head and neck area, ripped him out of the cage, which resulted in Rollins defeating Punk because Rollins exited the cage, technically, via help from Roman. So Punk lost the match. And Roman just starts tearing up Seth Rollins on the outside. And the fans are cheering it. OTC, yeah! Hold on. I'm just using common sense and logic. Seth is a babyface. He panders to the crowd. They do the sing-along. And now all of a sudden they're all cheering that he's getting his ass whooped. This is what I mean, man. This is what I mean. You can't do that to your babyfaces. If Roman's going to return like that, it has to be a diabolical heel getting their asses whooped. And then he looks in the ring. Paul Heyman is trying to console CM Punk, trying to help Punk up. So Heyman also returned. And he was helping his friend up, CM Punk. Roman is not having it. He's not happy. He's a little jealous, a lot angry. Roman gets in the ring, spears CM Punk. And the crowd is flipping out. Punk is knocked out looking up at the lights. Or when he wakes up, he's going to be looking at the lights. Lights are on. Nobody's home at that point after the spear. And the whole crowd is yelling OTC. You were just yelling for CM Punk, and now you totally turned your back on him. That's what I mean. You're confusing your audience. They're all over the place. They don't know who to cheer for, but they know they like Roman. Sorry, Punk, we got to flip you off on this one. And they start chanting OTC after whooping Punk's ass. Two baby faces destroyed, and the crowd is electric for it. Yeah, Roman! OTC! OTC! How did that help Punk? How does that help Rollins? This is why I say you would never see Vincent Kennedy McMahon book Hulk Hogan to absolutely annihilate Warrior to the point where the crowd is chanting for Hogan and Warrior is getting shit on. Even in their WrestleMania 6 build and feud. That's not how they built that. Vince knew you can't make your baby faces look that way. This is booking that is detrimental to the talent. Forget the fans. It's detrimental to the talent. That you would book your baby faces to absolutely annihilate your baby faces. What? Heels, pinning heels in nonsensical triple threats like Butch pinning Ludwig Kaiser a couple weeks ago in that triple threat match with Penta. Why is your heel in another heel in a triple threat, and why is the heel pinning a heel? Wrestling cannot sustain itself this way. It's not what it is. It's not what it is at all. You can't just do this non-stop. There has to be a connection and a feeling and an emotion to it. Everybody was cheering Punk getting his ass whooped, and then what? Next week, when Punk is away from Rollins and Roman for a second, maybe he's cutting a promo by himself, and everyone's yelling, CM Punk again, until Roman comes out. And then it's OTC, OTC. This is so weird. Or you could just create diabolical heels, build them up, and have them take on your top baby faces. They work off of one another. Each gains prestige in the process. What a wild concept. And the show went off the air last night with CM Punk getting shit on by the crowd and being stepped on by Roman Reigns. OTC, OTC, OTC. And it looks like what we heard a month ago is what they're going to go with. A triple threat between Roman, Punk, and Rollins. Face versus face versus face. Your three of your top baby faces in the company facing each other for legit no reason. There's not a title on the line. There's not a Liv Morgan panties on the pole match on the line. Nothing. There is nothing. There's not a premier triple layered mousse cake from the Cheesecake Factory suspended in the air. There's nothing. There's nothing. They're just facing each other because they have separate feuds within, so they're just like, and Punk and Roman just started theirs last night. They would have no reason in just 4 weeks to have a match with Rollins. Punk and Roman can settle their own difference just like Roman and Seth and Punk. But they had nothing for any of them. And there's no top diabolical heels. So Hunter's like, what if we just put all our faces in one match? Okay, but what's on the line, boss? Nothing. It's a big match, right? People will just go, hey, that's going to be good. You don't want anything on, we're just having a triple threat for no reason? Yeah, there is a reason. They're going to settle beef. Raw 3/10/25. That was your show. I'm not being harsh on it at all, man. I watch it. I was so pumped after Elimination Chamber. I really wanted the momentum to carry, even though I knew Cena, Rock, and Brian Gerwitz were not going to be there to hold Hunter's hand. I was hoping that they left Hunter in a better spot than before Chamber. And here we are right back to the same nonsensical bullshit. Netflix is getting carried away. They're bringing all of their stars from their shows, so that's taking up half of these shows. They're putting more ads than ever before into the shows. I think they realize they paid $5 billion for an acorn. There's nothing. The numbers are going backwards. They feel like they're not getting a return on their investment. Sound familiar? Same reason Fox said, no, thank you, we're done. Same reason Fox said, we're out, and they used the excuse, the reasoning, I should say, not an excuse, the reasoning of they did not get a return on their investment. Netflix is already starting to see that. So when Hunter asked after Elimination, now does it feel like Mania season? We all said, yeah, it's starting to now. Now we got that feeling. But it's only a start. Here we are 1 week later. And unfortunately, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the answer is no. It's back to not feeling like Mania season. Because you got some weird matches that you're putting seeds into. And you still have about 10 other matches that you don't even know what to book. And you only got a few weeks to book them. Until next time. And there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. 44 dive. That's a wrap. BC saying check you. Salud!